All right. So have you ever wished that things in the government could be done differently? Have you ever get frustrated feeling like you can't trust the people that are in office? Have you ever feel like the people there just don't understand what you're going through? Well, based on my research and the history of voting in this country, I'm going to present to you the importance of voting. See, we live in one of the few countries on this planet where it's okay to disagree with your government. We live in one of the few places where whether you agree or disagree with your leaders or not, election time is your opportunity to have your voice heard. Election time is your opportunity to raise your hand and speak your mind. Your opinion counts. Your opinion matters. The presidential election in 2000 was decided on only 543 votes. 543. That's about the size of a medium to large size Sunday morning church service. Today I'd like to give you information about the following. 1, the history of voting. 2, why your vote is important. And 3, understanding how your vote affects the future. See, others have fought and sacrificed to afford you the opportunity to vote. Until 1843, only white males aged 21 or older were able to vote. And before then, it was only white males that owned property. So there was already changes. The Revolutionary War was all about people being taxed without being represented. It was all about people saying, no, my voice isn't being heard. Fast forward, the Civil War led up to the 15th Amendment to the Constitution, which allowed all men 21 or older to vote, regardless of their race. But even after that, after the Civil War, it wasn't until 1920 that women were allowed the right to vote. Before then, hundreds of members of the National Women's Party, led by Alice Paul, were arrested illegally over a 3-year period for protesting outside the White House. Information can be found on Jailed for Freedom, American Women Win the Right to Vote. See, your vote is important. Like I said before, the presidential election for the leader of the free world in 2000 was decided by 543 people. 543 people that probably didn't think that their vote counted, showed up to the polls, put their vote out there, and that decided the presidential election. If your clothes or your job or even what you had for dinner was decided by somebody else, you'd be up in arms. If you went out to Applebee's and the waiter came up to you and told you, tonight you're having this steak, but I'm a vegetarian, it doesn't matter, this is what you're having, you'd be upset. You'd complain. You may even write a letter. But in the last presidential election, it was 43.2% of voting-aged adults didn't cast their vote. Of people that were eligible to vote, that's almost half of the people didn't care enough to have their voice heard. See, your future is affected by the outcome of the poll. It's not just voting is important, but your future. The decisions that affect your life are affected by the outcome of the poll. See, state and local representatives decide on how much of your income, of your pay, goes to taxes. President Obama and Senator McCain, they had very different views on what national health care should be like. Those are things that you will actually have to deal with. Minimum wage is decided by U.S. Congress. Welfare benefits are decided by U.S. Congress. Whether or not we enter a war, a very polarizing issue, is decided by U.S. Congress and the President of the United States. These are people that you've put there to make these big decisions. So what does this mean to us? What does this mean for us? First off, voting is a right that is not to be taken lightly. It's not something that we should just go and cast a vote because someone told. No. What do you believe? What do you believe? How do you believe this country should be run? Voting is your opportunity to have your voice heard. See, our lives and the lives of future generations are affected by the outcome of elections. Whether we go to a war or not is going to affect whether someone's alive or not. And if the battles that we fight are decided on by people that we didn't care enough to vote for, that affects us. That affects tomorrow. That affects our kids. First off, I recommend, one, you need to read about your local and your government representatives and form an opinion. You need to register to vote. Any information can be found for us at scvotes.org. You register to vote, and then they give you one of these things. you get a voter's registration card. When you show up to vote, you bring this, you bring your ID card to prove that you are you, and boom, you get to put your vote out there. When election time is at hand, do your research. Know what you're voting for. Know who you're voting for, and go out and make an informed vote. So today we've learned that one, other people have fought and sacrificed to afford you the opportunity to vote. We've learned too that your vote counts. Your future is affected by the outcome of the poll, and for you have a responsibility. Many people want to make a change in this world. Many people are quick to point out the negatives and the things that need to be changed, but statistically, just over half of the people are going to make the trip to the poll come election time. Respect your voice and the voices of the people that have gone before you. Go vote.